Bill Henshaw here again, Constitutional Crisis Channel, and with some of the biggest news we've had to date. Because just recently I got a letter from the California Supreme Court. Not the justices of the court, mind you, from the administrator of the court. One wonders whether whose name really isn't Philip Drew. You can Google that and you'll get the joke. But in response, quote unquote, to my earlier letter inquiring why the court hadn't made a ruling on the writ of habeas corpus that we put in there for my friend, who is now 6-0 in traffic cases in the last 18 months, including that one that I told you about earlier. We were out of there in 30 seconds. That was number 6. And I'm saying to the court, what's the problem here? How many times does it take for you people to do your job? Well, the letter I got back from the administrator didn't even mention the writ. And the danger there from their perspective is if they do that, they might be running the risk of committing treason, and that's exactly what I think they have done, and not for the first time. And I'm saying, what's the deal here? You've taken an oath to preserve, protect, and defend this Constitution. We put in a writ absolutely unopposed by the DA, who was properly served with the documents, and here we are 6 weeks later, and no word, even with this win on April the 19th, that put us at 6-0 against the DMB. Now, yes, I realize that if they rule in our favor, they're going to put the DMB out of business, which is exactly what I want and what you should want. That's not our problem in life. If they're going to deny it, they should have enough integrity to do so on the record and state the reasons. But they can't do that either, because that dead bang convicts them of treason. So at the present time, I'm still in communications mode. They will be getting another letter from me real soon saying, in effect, the jig's up here. Either do your job or you're going to force me to do mine. And if I have to come file against you for either impeachment in the California Assembly and or with the U.S. Attorney General Jeff Sessions and go before a federal grand jury and indict all you bastards for treason, why don't you call your counterparts in Columbia, South Carolina, and ask them what to expect? Because I never took my foot off the gas pedal while I was there the entire 5 months, with great help and assistance from my good friend who's doing these videos too, by the way. And we set a record that's gangbusters against them, and we're going to be beating them down before the year is over. But I never did lift my foot off the gas there. I'm not going to do it now. If that's the rules of the game and the way they want to play it, and these are parties that really are responsible, and I don't think would possibly have good faith as a quote-unquote affirmative defense to the acts of treason they committed. I mean, in those positions that high in government, and you don't know what the law is? I mean, my goodness, what's a jury going to do with that? They're either going to ask you, or I'll ask you in front of a jury, why you're in those positions to start with, or why you didn't recuse yourself from this case, or even resign your positions if you felt like you couldn't adhere to your oath of office. That's a very unpleasant circumstance to be put into, but that's exactly where they're headed based on what's happened with this event here. And I will update you as I get more news on this. This one may be a quick turnaround here, and if they do rule in our favor, it does shut the DMB down, and it's likely to become a precedent across the nation. I should note here, by the way, I've had occasion to go back and forth on my YouTube channel and answer some questions from people that have sent things in. And I've had a couple that have been a little upset since I haven't been putting this information out there exactly on what I'm doing. Well, one of the reasons for that is that it's still kind of experimental for right now. And I don't want to be having other people out there, even with my good documents, putting them into court and getting bad decisions on the record that might be considered to set a precedent, which they wouldn't. But there isn't any need for that right now. So if I can get it done quickly, then you can follow me and use my case as precedent if they do decide it on the record. But this one is really exciting because now, and they denied my petition a while back too, and those two things taken in concert are real trouble. And this is the leverage that we have, because we have rights to do what I'm telling you to do, is put in writs of habeas corpus, writs for petitions of redress of grievance, and they're not answering them. This has to change. It must change. And the Constitution of the United States mandates this jurisdiction exists. The Supreme Court acknowledges it. And all the earlier authorities on the Constitution recognize it too, including Justice Joseph Story's commentaries on the Constitution. This concurrent jurisdiction is there. Why we can't hit it remains an open question to me, and I am going to get to the bottom of this, if I can possibly do it in the time I have left, and I should. I figure I got a good another 10 or 11 years. It shouldn't take anywhere near that long. But the good news here is we could have some ringing good news out of Sacramento, out of San Francisco in the California Supreme Court. And this would be a lot better than getting it out of, say, the state of Alaska or Idaho or some little state like that might not carry a whole lot of clout. If California is forced to do this, this is gangbusters. And then if that happens, I'll go into a video on all the net effects in our favor, where you can go in yourself and now file to get redress agreements and sue the bastards based on the absence of jurisdiction that they had in the traffic court, and they will be liable for that, and no statute of limitations. Geez, this is so exciting you can't stand it. Now, me personally, I'm not too much, yes, I've got some offensive cases going now, but with justification for it, and with financial considerations and a secondary role. Yeah, I figured I'd get a good chunk of change here, I damn well should, but what I want to do equally, if not more important, is foster changes in the system so this doesn't happen to me again, and it sure as hell doesn't happen to you. That's what we're on to here, and like I say, when we get updates on this, you'll get videos on it, and I'll give you more information. Thank you.